Hi, I am Chaos of Dead Radio Show, and this is
Lolly and Monkey. Hey,
that is
he's
Lolly
here.
and Monkey. Hello, it is so nice to see you both. I am happy that I'm able
Yes.
to interview you guys and talk to you a little bit. Um, Introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit more about both of you.
I'm Lollyit, and I go by Lolly when I make music, and I also do puppet videos and cosplays and stuff.
That's
And
awesome.
my name is Hermit the Chimp. Uh, yeah, I'm the said puppet in the videos.
Yes, yes, I see a lot of you in the videos. Do you enjoy being in the videos?
No, no,
You're
she
just
makes me.
forced. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
just forces you. Does she
It's
like,
his. It's how he pays his rent.
you know what? I don't I think that's some pretty good compensation right there, okay?
Yeah, yeah. I got a place to live. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could be out in the wilderness with all the other monkeys.
Oh yeah, I'm not built for that.
Yeah, no, I don't, it doesn't seem like you are, to be honest.
All right, so you got some questions. What are the questions?
I do. One of my first questions is, can you tell me what inspired you or got you into making music, making videos, doing ventriloquism and stuff?
Well, I've been doing music the longest, and I started that when I was like 14 as like a joke with my brother. But I was really into like Daft Punk and early Joji stuff, and eventually that got me into the route of like wanting to learn to make music. And so I did that for a little bit. And then I like deleted all my old stuff and I started over. Um, but the YouTube stuff, I got into the YouTube stuff because I think I was just bored and I did not expect it to take off the way that it did, like the puppet videos. And I just sort of realized that it was something that people liked, so I kept doing it.
Honestly, that's awesome though, because I I think that it shows creativity, even if it's not like making a painting, doing something else. I think that in itself, making bits and being able to think of things to do names everything. I think I've seen you dress up a lot and stuff too. Like all of that takes creativity and like, it's more than just like making one of those like baseless regular videos that a lot of people make, in my opinion.
Mhm. Yeah, I do have a lot of thought that goes into a lot of my videos because these are characters with full backstories. Like Hermit here, he's a divorced dad and he's been to war. Yep, he's struggled with addiction. He's a very he's got a lot of different story to him. And then my cosplays, like you talked about, my like sleep paralysis demon characters, I haven't been doing a whole lot with them lately because I'm planning a series, like I'm doing an analog horror thing that I'm working on right now. But those characters are just drenched in story and everything they are is story. They're original characters, so it's just like exercise and I guess writing, for the sake of just putting translating life experiences into something that's more fantastical, so I don't have to like struggle with it as much.
I can understand that. Would you be open to talking about your creative process a little bit, maybe?
Uh, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff just comes from me being really depressed. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I like when I'm like in some of my worst moods ever, I'll like drop off the face of the earth and I'll rot away and I'll like make music or come up with new ideas based off of just how shitty I feel. And that is a big part of some of my newer, more popular music, like the Waste Your Time Here Puppy Girl EP, was just born from like I nearly took my own life again, and I was like, I need to be doing something with myself, and so I made that entire album, and I'm still in that phase where I'm just making things to kind of like run from my problems. Like it's also kind of like in a way to take back my own mind from these things. Like I had to come to terms with the fact that I was like some bad things happened to me, and uh, a very, very bad person ruined a lot of aspects of my life. And so I'm making a new album that I'm working on. I don't know if you've seen the little posters of my face drawn as like a sketch, like a police sketch that I've posted. Um, the entire thing is to sort of be like, I know what you did, and it's like to haunt them. I want to be the one. I want to be taking back power of my own life. That was
Yeah,
all.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you could take it and make it into something better. Because, a lot of art, a lot of music, it comes from sadness, anger, grief, despair, so many different emotions. And I
Hmm.
think expression and creativity is such an amazingly beautiful thing because a lot of great works come from those, you know, maybe people classify them as negative because they are seen as negative, but those moments of, downs in our life where we need some sort of outlet, and music and art is such great ones because really there's no structure or rule to it. You're just making something and you're just
Hmm.
expressing yourself and you're just being creative, and I think that's a really great thing. So thank you for sharing that
It
with
makes
me.
life worth living.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what would life be without the art in it? I mean, it'd be boring and mundane and just too plain.
Next question.
Yes. How long have you been like making music and these videos? Do you know the time frame of like how long you've
So,
been
like I
doing?
said, I started music when I was like 14, and so I've had a lot of time to mature and grow and make different music. And a lot of my standard for music now is a lot more vetted than it used to be. So, a lot of my older stuff, which is still kind of pretty popular and pretty popping off, but I'm not super proud of it. Um, I've been doing that since like I started the newer stuff in like 2020, I think 2022, that kind of time period. It was after the pandemic, and I was like, I had recently come out, um, and I was starting over again. I've started over like maybe 3 or 4 times, but this is the last time, I swear.
Oh,
And then the puppet videos I've been doing not quite as long. This stuff, yeah, no, I've been only doing this since about I'd say like 2 or 3 years.
It is I, Gleebus, the alter ego of Lolly and YouTube personality and alien. Lolly made a mistake. She said she didn't start puppetry until like 2 years ago. That's wrong. She started when she was 16, but her old account got deleted. The new account is about 2 or 3 years old. But she's been doing puppetry longer than that. Gleebus out, I guess. That was all I needed to say. Yeah. Bye.
yeah, I think it's been a couple of years that I've been seeing your videos and interacting with you out there. Could you tell me some like oh my goodness, words, some accomplishments that you have made that you're proud of?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really care so much about like the amount of followers I have because it really doesn't translate to much. I think what I do feel accomplished in is when people relate to a piece of art in particular. Like I feel accomplished in the fact that people really get joy out of seeing these videos, or out of listening to a certain few songs that I have. I don't care if it's just one song. If people like it, then it's like that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I could definitely glaze you a little bit. I do enjoy your work myself. I love it. I've loved it for a few years now. I love all of your characters and I do love some of your music. I do take a peek whenever you release something new or send me something to check out. Could you tell me some of your struggles as an artist?
Probably like there's this constant um like pressure for artists nowadays to be turning themselves into a brand, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to make art. I just want to be weird and make art. So I'm kind of just putting myself out there in a completely different way than I would have in the past. Like I used to post a lot of videos to my own music, being like, "Go listen to my song," or like, da 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 da. And after a certain point, I just got kind of tired of doing that. I'm like, I want to do something weird, and so that's why now I'm doing like the dream survey stuff, and like it's like an art project. And if I get enough submissions on the dream survey, it's actually like the voice notes are gonna end up in the deluxe version of the album.
Hmm,
So
that sounds interesting.
yeah, we're gonna put actual posters out eventually. Yeah.
When you started, could you like have imagined this is like where you would be now, like or like the maybe the following, the people listening to
hmm
your music, people connecting with your art and your videos, your music, the sounds you make, being even just being weird.
Yeah, I feel like every single day I'm surprised of where I've ended up because I don't feel like I've ever had a plan, and I've sort of just been roller coastering for like years and years at this point. And so any day that I'm still up making art, um, I'm just like, I guess I'm happy that I'm in the position that I am to do it. Um, and I do have I do make a small living now off of some stuff that's kind of unrelated, but it is nice not having to work a normal job because of some of my I'm super autistic. I'm not very good with people.
I can completely understand that. Same here. That's why I do these little things, these interviews and I vend, I'm an artist myself and everything, so I sell online too. What about you, Hermit? Could you have imagined you would have like hundreds to thousands of people watching you and seeing you?
I did not expect to be such a hit, such a hit. People they talk a lot about my sad face. They said I look sad. You do have a very sad face. I do. Um, this is just what I always look like. I'm
I
not
get,
sad. I just look like this.
listen, I get told I have, so you know how some people have a resting bitch face? I get told that I have a resting worried face. Like I always just look like I'm in some sort of despair or distraught. And so I completely understand that,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, me too. That's what I got. Definitely. And I
Yeah,
did not know before I started.
well, I mean, I'm happy that I got to like meet you guys through it all. I wanted to ask about your previous use of AI and touch on your perspective of it now and maybe how has it like impacted you?
Yes. So in the past, I did use AI for a few music, like the cover art of a few songs, and I experimented with a few voice settings, but that was before I knew the harm that it does, and I later became more educated as the movement sort of gained traction because at first when it happened with like Glorb and stuff, like those AI SpongeBob rap things. It blew up and no one really took it seriously, but then you're like, this is taking jobs away from like voice actors and artists. And then you find out how it's made and ethically it's sourced off of people's art who aren't consenting to it. And so I went back and I redid old artworks and I would take down some of my old content if I wasn't locked out of my old music TikTok account. But I actively post now against AI, and I think it is important for people to be able to have that leeway to be open to ideas that maybe you're wrong sometimes, and you should uh, think a little bit more critically about how the things you do affect people. I've never used AI in the way to make music itself because for me it's always been like I just enjoy making music. But a lot of people now are using it to mass produce songs and to basically cheat streaming services into getting plays, into getting money. It's like modern day payola and stuff. It's really it's a the modern music scene is really made worse because of AI. So that's I feel like if you're not actively taking a stance against it, then you're causing harm at this point.
Yeah, I honestly can completely agree with that. And honestly, I think a lot of us, when AI first came out, I think a lot of people might be more common than a lot of people like to admit or think, but I think a lot of people did fall into that like AI generation generative trend of like altering their pictures a little bit, using the filters, using the audio, sharing around images that they didn't know necessarily were AI yet. And before all the harm and the detriment was really being spoken about and like people weren't as educated yet. I think that it's great when somebody can become educated and change their perspective on it and recognize, oh, this is harmful. This is harmful to many different people in many different areas, different things, even the environment. And you can recognize that, you can reflect on it, you can be like, yeah, no, I think I'm not going to contribute to that and I'm going to stop because I think that
Hmm.
everybody has room for growth, everybody has room for learning, and that's what life is about learning things and trying to make sure that you can just become a better person. Sorry. I think that AI is definitely something that blew up really, really fast, and it became such a big trend that people just kind of didn't really think about it too much or really look into the
Hmm.
background of it. And I don't fault people for that. I don't. I think that that is why it is so important to be anti-AI and to actually post about it, spread around how it can be harmful, but we have to do it in a
Yeah.
way of not necessarily like ostracizing somebody for it. We have to educate them, and if they choose to stop using it or continue, that is kind of completely on their own moral duty, like we can't force people to do anything, but we can just share about how it is affecting others. And I think that it's really honestly something great that you recognized it and were able to learn and be like, no, I'm not going to contribute to this.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna like be a part of something that's hurting people that I am a part of that group because you are a voice actor yourself, so it that hurts you too in the long run.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's awesome.
I
How do you?
yeah, I realized these things, and it's also kind of hard not to, and a lot of my old music was about a character who was a robot who was and it was like grappling with existential dread of being the downfall of humanity or being this inherently bad thing. And I find it kind of funny how as I went on with that character, I slowly like phased out using the assistants for making the cover art of the albums, and I just started fully commissioning people or doing it myself or taking pictures or something or photo bashing. Like I've gotten pretty good at that now. And it's sort of hard not to see it at that point when I'm like getting into the mind of that character. I'm thinking about it so much more. And I think pushing it into the mainstream ultimately is what made me see the damage of it, because I understand, like, sometimes you feel like what you're gonna make isn't enough, maybe, or there's other reasons you may turn to it. Maybe you're like lonely and you want to talk to a chatbot, but um it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you can get these things from other places. And if you practice enough too, you can get good enough at art that you don't have to rely on stupid shit like that.
Yep. I always say practice makes perfect. And people want to chat to a chat bot. You can just go to like those anonymous chat rooms that have people filled up in there and just chat with random people. People do it all the time. Human connection is so important. And I think people are losing themselves in that. And AI is making it so much worse with humans and losing that human connection because they're treating AI like it has feelings sometimes when it's literally just a coding program and it doesn't have feelings. It's not sentient, none of that. And I just think it's really interesting to see the effects of AI on the human psyche.
Definitely. There's been a lot of straight up hysteria of people like thinking it's real. Like that would be like if I thought he was real. Yeah, and I'm not. No, he's not. He's a
Exactly.
fictive thing.
Exactly. And I think that is another important detriment that needs to be looked at and recognized more widely because so many people become emotionally reliant on these AI chatbots and they use them to ask them questions like, "Oh, what should I wear today?" or "Oh, what should I do this?
Hmm.
What should I order for dinner?" or "Oh, how do
They're
you feel about
built to
this?"
be addictive, and it is a new mental health crisis that revolves around this entire issue now. That's Yeah, that's why it's so important. Thank you for talking about this with me and giving me a chance to I'm not going to ever try to excuse what I did, but to like own up to it and like talk about it more honestly, because I kind of just changed a lot of that stuff. Like I went back and changed old photos or stuff, but it's not something that I'll hide, and it's not something it's something you can go back and you can probably see eventually. But I want to actually like actively push against that now, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and to say that.
Of course, I think it's really important, and that's why I kind of really wanted to get you on here because I really wanted to hear your perspective of it because it's not so cut and clean every time with every person with, "Oh, I've never used AI. Oh, I'm so against it that I'll never touch it. I've never used it." There are people who have used it in the past and have recognized its bad outcomes and realize like, hey, no, I'm now against it too. And I think people who do currently use it should also look at it and reflect on it. I just have like one more question for you, and then we can wrap up here. And that question is, why is creativity important?
Creativity is important for me because it gives me a way to process life and all the very difficult aspects of it. And I think it's also, in another sense, impersonally important from other artists when I see or when other people consume my art. People get to interpret that however they need to in that moment. And you never know with what you put out how it's going to help people and how it's going to affect people. I have gotten some pretty nice DMs of people saying how they get really depressed and my stupid monkey puppet makes them smile. And it's like, I'm just glad that I can do that for other people and that other people can do that for me when they're also creating stuff and like discovering new art. It's fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we forget to realize that we never really truly know what's going on in other people's lives and in their brains and what they're going through. And, whereas we may think of it as something so small and little, it can mean so much to somebody else. And I think that is awesome. I really do. Thank you both so much. I know Hermit is not real, but thank you, Hermit, as well, for being
Thank you.
here.
You can pretend. It's okay.
Thank you so much for being a part of this interview and coming on and talking to me about what you do and the AI and everything. I really appreciate it, and so does Dead Radio Show. Have a good one. Good
Bye
night.
bye. Good night.
Bye.